Well, here goes another day. Extremely hot. So many hunters showed up in this area. It's crazy. It's almost like a war zone. But give it another go up here. Nobody's really going into the thick jungle, so I'll do that today. There's a trail. I can't see it on this, but I know there's a handful of elk up there. There's a bull moose calling in that forest right now. These mornings are awesome. I love being out here at this time. Watching everything come to life. I hope this is a good day. It's almost time. There's a hidden draw on the other side of these trees, between the trees and that farther hill. You can hear a moose down there. I also saw some elk down there last week, so I'll wait till it's a little more light out and I'll slip over the top. Right by that tree. And hopefully there's some elk down there right now, but it's too dark for me to see yet, so a few more minutes. I turn this on in hopes that maybe get that moose recorded for everybody to hear, but I think he just sneezed. This is so noisy and bone dry. And there's a bull elk laying down right there. Doesn't have enough points. Got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. Here he comes. Well, the wind's going that way. That young bull just smelled me down there and took off in the timber. It's a great spot to catch an elk, and it worked, but the wrong one. There's no way they're going to be out in the open now. So I'm going in there after them. Oops. Oh, shit. I'm leaking. Oh well. Look at these trails. This is it, do or die. All right, this might be shaky. If I move, the camera moves. Actually, it's a GoPro, so it should probably compensate, right? Anyway, I'm still in the woods. And for all you hunters out there, I'm trying to move slow, so back. I got a stick. The stick on the leaning on the front of the quad with the GoPro on it. Now, a lot of you out there, outdoors people, hunters, you're probably wondering, why don't you have an elk yet? I missed is one definite reason. But other than that, for elk hunting, it doesn't get much tougher than this, really. We're experiencing drought conditions up here in the north. There's been no water. I don't even remember what rain feels like. It's so dry, it's ridiculous. So that makes every single, anywhere you step, sound like walking on potato chips in a square glass room. You know, it's just... And then you've got, they're supposed to be rutting right now, and big bull elk normally bugle, and you can locate them and go in on them like I did in a video a little while ago and other videos. They're not bugling. They're not saying nothing. They did that one morning and that was it. I haven't heard an elk bugle in days. So that makes it very difficult. And then we don't have acres of, we don't have huge herds of elk running around up here like you do and see in some places in the States. Maybe a couple places in Canada, Saskatchewan, maybe, I don't know. We just don't have them. And it's all thick, forested, rolling hills and mountains. And the elk don't herd up like you typically see on TV or Yellowstone or some of these private hunting ranches. You'll get like a cow and a calf up on that hill over there, maybe a cow over there, a couple cows over there, maybe a bull over there with a cow and a calf. Very spread out. And that makes it even harder, right? And then you got to throw in the mix of tons of hunters surging in here. I don't know where they all came from, but yesterday I think I see 9 different people go down past my little camp. 9 different people. One was a side-by-side with 4 people on it, so I guess that's 9, 10, 13 people. And they're all looking frustrated, not knowing where they're going and going right over top of each other, and they're driving around the quads at last light and first light, which they shouldn't be. And it's driving all the game way back into the forest. And they're just laying there hunkered down, not saying nothing. And they're doing their thing at nighttime. And they lie down during the day in the thick bush. So there you go. It's tough. But I'm still seeing, I'll see a couple elk every day anyway. I had a bull coming in this morning, but it was the wrong flavor. Not enough points to be legal. Of course, thinking, right on, here we go, I'm getting it done. So there you go, there's my hunting update. And I've been noticing a timbered area, huge, biggest patch of timber I could find, and there's a hill on the middle of it. So I just went and did it. I hiked all the way in there, and sure enough, there's elk in there on the top of the hill. Found them. So I'm gonna sneak in there tomorrow morning in the dark, see if I can close this deal. So there's my hunting update. The wind's blowing, I hope it isn't too loud on the camera. Another thing, one thing I want to mention, we've been pretty good, actually. I think I've been a lot better in the past couple of years, being triggered or knee-jerked by haters. You know what I mean? Is what it is. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. It doesn't matter what you put on for the public to see. You're gonna get flack. That's all there is to it. But I'm going to discuss one topic for a quick minute. All right? It's a topic in the past when I've had people alert me to, various people who made videos about me and want to hate on me and discredit me for whatever reasons. It seems the common denominator with them is he just reads any email, doesn't even vet them. Right? And what I believe a lot of people don't understand why I go about doing this the way I do it. Now here's where my brain needs to mesh up on my lips to get it smooth to you guys what I'm thinking, because I can go off on a couple of tangents. We can go off and discuss the brain pattern of the people who that makes very angry, and also the people that are angry at me for not vetting the emailers. They also have common traits. They seem to want to control. They want to stop people from doing something they don't like. They want to stop people from doing something they don't think they should do it the way they're doing it. It's a control. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, whatever. But I just always notice different traits when I try to figure out why people are the way they are. And the people that I seem to be nonstop upset with me when it comes to this topic are people who have channels themselves. They have a social media presence themselves, so there's something in common with them. But the one common denominator is that seems to make them upset is that I don't vet the emails. And I had the Starlink going, loading up a video for you guys, and I'm just scrolling through the internet in the front of my truck while I'm waiting for that to load, and somebody alerted me to another video made about me a while back. Some guy was really hammering on that. But then when it gets to that point and they go public, telling the people what they think about me, which is fine, I don't mind. I'm not angry about this, you guys. I have to paint the picture so we fully discuss what I'm about to get to. There, I just lost the point I was going to make. But when it seems that these people want to get angry at me, then they really start, it seems to snowball. And they come up with stuff. They come up with some outrageous things, and they'll say it publicly and try to discredit me, and it's very amazing to watch. Anyways, we'll get back to that in a minute. But the main point is the vetting thing. So let's discuss that. That's what I want to discuss. I'm not upset at all with people making videos about me. I'm all good. These gets done a lot. Now, one thing that I try to encourage all of the people to do is to never, ever, it's a very hard thing to do, is to put someone in that place of authority before you, for you. I hope my mouth meshes up with my brain and gets this across smoothly. Now, if you guys sat there like you're my students, sitting quiet and polite in a classroom, not interrupting me, the teacher, and you allow me to be put in this place of vetting for you, I feel that is absolutely wrong in so many ways. Absolutely wrong. I feel, and I am 100% firm in my belief in this, that all of us have it in us to know what truth is or not. We already have it. But we have had it systematically erased from us. We haven't been told that we already know the truth. We haven't been told that we know honesty or dishonesty. We've never been taught that or told that. We've been told to sit there, shut up, listen to me, repeat what I tell you, or you fail. Right? In a quick roundabout way. We know what truth is. We know the truth. We know sincerity. We know legitimacy. We already know it. And I think it puts us backwards if you put somebody like me or anybody else in a place to tell you. I hope I'm making sense. Now, vetting. Let's just say I did vet each email. What would that require me to do? Jump in a plane, fly to where this person lives, interview them, speak to their parents, speak to their ex-wives or ex-husbands, their co-workers, go to the forest where they had the experience. What else do you do? Right? See how crazy that is? Could you imagine? And then what? And then after I do all that, then it's still on me to decide for all of you whether or not this person was legitimate, or the story was legitimate, or they saw what they saw, because I went and investigated that person thoroughly. Now I feel that they're legitimate, so now you guys better think that too, because I told you. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. It's the wrong thing to do. We need people to make up shit. We need people to deliver bogusness in every wakes of life. We need it. Because if without that, then we are not going, our gut instincts or intuition, we're not going to feel truth. We're not going to listen to truth and have it register as truth. We're not going to listen to the way people deliver their words, who they are, how they deliver it, their demeanor, their energy. The energy is a big one. We are not going to know truth from non-truth if we don't have the non-truth. Don't you think? Or am I being absolutely wrong? Or should I just go out, jump in a plane, go to somebody's farm, interview them to make sure they're legitimate, get them to take me down that game trail where they saw this thing terrorizing them, and then I'll decide if that's what they saw or not. And then I'll tell you guys. Right? I hope I'm coming across clear. It's not a little absurd. It's not a little right frickin' out there. For the most part, though, I don't know. I don't look for dishonesty, but I do know that my gut tells me and my instincts tell me, and I get a lot of people who email me, they tell me exactly who they are, where they work, where they're born, who their wives or husbands are, everything. I don't ask them for it, but they do. They offer it up. To each their own. And at this stage of the game, with the shit that we've been hearing, the patterns, I'd like to think at least 90% of the people that email in are absolute honest. I probably feel even higher than that, but I don't waste time thinking about that, because I've seen and I've experienced a lot of shit that people have as well. And when you have, and then you hear somebody telling the story, they put you right there, because you've already been there. You can relate to what they're saying, right? But anyway, there you go. That's my stance in response to people who possibly are upset with me by repeating the words of, I don't think it's that many people, but there's a handful of people with their own social media presence who can't stand what's going on here. Can't stand me. That's fine. Whatever. And they feel strongly that I'm a bad man because I'm not vetting anything. I'm just reading everything. Wow. So, you know, if you do this like reverse psychology thing, they're basically telling you that they're the guilty party, right? The sort of thing too, like I always tell Sarah, you know, people lash out at people with or insult people with what hurts them the most. And if you look for that, it's true. The super jealous person accuses their spouse of screwing around on them all the time. Where are you? How come you're lying to me? What are you doing? Give me your phone. Right? And they're not the super jealous person. I mean the guilty person. The guilty person that's deceiving somebody is always accusing somebody of those traits. There you go. My brain's meshing up with my lips. The people that call me a narcissist or a control freak or whatever they want to call me, and they want to stop me from reading every single email, well, they just told us that they don't like that, and they want to be in charge of what emails get read, right? Or they feel somebody should be in charge. Probably them. There you go. But that's not the reason of my little chit-chat here. The main reason, what I'm trying to get across to you guys is the vetting of emails and the handful of people who with social media presences when it comes to this topic who want to discredit me because I don't do that. Well, I feel they are very wrong. And they're probably, by the sounds of it, on average, the people who want to have control, right? They want to have control of what you say, what you do, what I say or do, and how we do it. There's no other reason for somebody to be upset with somebody reading a bunch of emails, whether or not they flew to their house, went down the game tail, whether or not, because they cannot stand not having that control. Right? Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. You can comment in the comment section below if you want. So there you go. So I will continue to read every single email I receive, unless it's blatantly right out there, because that is, as far as I'm concerned, for me, and what I've learned in my crazy lifetime is that is the right thing to do. Letting every single one of you speak word for word and have it shared is the correct way to go about doing things. It's the right thing to do. Period. She brings out so much truth, it's ridiculous. Man, coincidentally, all those people who don't want me to do that also don't want to accept a lot of patterns that all of you have discovered when it comes to this topic. They don't want you to do that. They don't want these patterns exposed. They don't want the other side of this topic exposed. They just don't, because they think it's wrong for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm babbling now. I hope you get my point. I just mainly wanted to address the part about people being upset with the vetting. It's a very, very wrong thing to go against, I believe. You need to listen to the people, all of the people, no matter what. And hopefully, maybe possibly, you get some junk email thrown in there, and then your gut knows the difference. You learn. That's how you learn. That's how you learn to get better. That's how you learn what is legitimate in life and what isn't legitimate in life. You need the illegitimate thrown at you too, no matter what the topic is, right? So there you go. Just because I will not stop doing that, there's a bunch of people that would just love to destroy me. And they've even come, I gotta add this thing because it's a little comical. This one particular video that I got suckered into watching for a little bit. I didn't listen to the whole thing, just a couple points, but this one individual is investigating me now because they have found out that I have people writing fraudulent stories for me so I can read them online to make money. Listen to me. If there's anybody out there, including these apparent writers, including anybody who writes stories for me because I requested them to, so I can make money, if you can please, please, please bring those writers forward and prove that I had interaction with them and shared emails or discussions that we made an agreement that they would write emails and stories for me for money, I'll give you $50,000 cash. I think I could scrape that up if I sold a couple things. I'll do it. If you can, anyone, I don't care who it is, even if you claim to be someone who contacted me and agreed to make emails for me on YouTube, phony freaking stories, I will scrape up $50,000 cash reward for you, the writer, or anyone who can find those people. All right, that was a comical one I heard today. That was a good one, and I'm dead serious. And that's my word. I give you my word on my life, on my family's existence, on my home. If you could find somebody that I commissioned to write me emails for this channel, $50,000 reward cash. I'll make it American money to boot. We'll scrounge up the difference. All right? Now, moving along. Hope that was entertaining, informative. And we'll put that to rest once and forever. That's the way it is. That's the way it goes here. Take it from where you will or leave it. And 100% of you weren't asked to be here. Right? But I hope that the door is wide open for the world. Something's waving in the air in front of the camera. Yeah, this door is wide open for the whole world to come in for free, and they're welcome and treated with respect. Until they're not respectful, then they get chewed up and spit in the toilet by all of you, right? All right, listen, enough of that shit. This was taken from the comments section. Okay, now listen to this. This is from James Smith. My uncle was a log faller in BC, Canada for most of his younger years. He spent 40 hours a week in forested areas that no man has ever been through. He always believed in Sasquatch. He would leave cookies or some of his sandwich on rocks or stumps around his work area. My uncle was cutting down virgin forest. He felt he needed to appease or trade something to have the right to be there kind of situation. One day my uncle had a bad falling accident. He fell a tree that was next to a huge old half-rotten maple tree. A huge piece of the maple fell on my uncle, pinning him down. Nobody was supposed to be back to him for another 45 minutes, all by himself, with a half a maple tree across his chest. He could barely get a breath. Thinking he was going to die within minutes, my uncle, who could kind of see through all the branches and leaves, piled on top of him, seen a huge something fast walking towards him. He thought at first it was one of the other fallers, but then realized it definitely was not. It was a Sasquatch. The Sasquatch reached into the pile of leaves and branches on top of my uncle with his right arm and lifted the branch that was trapped by my uncle. And then with his left arm, he took my uncle by his right leg and pulled him out. My uncle had to close his eyes to cover his head so he wouldn't get further hurt by this rescue, LOL. When he opened his eyes, the Sasquatch was gone. But he left an empty Ziploc sandwich bag behind. Uncle found it sitting on a rock beside where he sat for his last coffee break. He had no sandwich that day. And that's the end of that comment in the comment section underneath one of the videos on this channel. Now, get back to the vetting thing. What would we do to vet this guy to make sure it was legitimate? No, follow me. Just play this game with me, because there's a handful of people out there in the internet world that have an argument with this. So we got John Smith wrote this in. We shared it publicly. Uh-oh. Right? So, what do we do now? We message James Smith back to him in the comment section, get his phone number, address, fly out there, sit at a table with his uncle, and then let his uncle tell the same story again. And then what? Right? And then what? Do I look into his uncle's eyes, hear his speech, read his energy, and then I feel good about it, and then I tell the whole world, okay, I sat in front of him, it's legit. Do you know what I mean? What do you do? I'm sure the person who left that comment heard me repeat his comment here for sure. Thanks for laying that down, man. It's amazing I came across it, because I don't read the comments very, very rarely. Sarah does, though. Sarah does, and she points stuff out to me now and then. Now, and you for your uncle, if you would, if you could, if he's still with us, could you possibly get him to share with you roughly where that happened in BC? I'd be very interested to hear that, obviously, because I'm in BC. Be very interested to hear that, and also to hear, obviously, he had an experience like that. I'll guarantee you he's had other experiences, or he knows somebody who has had them. All right, and we'd like to hear from him if he would. There we go, another unvetted story shared. Just making people angry around the planet today, aren't we? Okay, I'll stop. It's too easy. A BLM land campsite. Bigfoot and other stories by a believer. Hi, Steve. Yes, you got my interest. I've emailed you before, once on a sighting. Even us one who have seen things, still have a doubt in our own minds. It was. 2, was it or wasn't it? It's hard for us. But yes, it was, and yes, it was tall. But my boyfriend is one of those non-believers, and will always be until one slaps him in the face. I've gone out and bought equipment to search, except time free is sparse. I work as most do, but just for another story of, say, a lone wolf in an area not known to any that I heard of any sightings or evidence, out of Wymer, Oregon. Wymer, Oregon? W-I-M-E-R, Oregon. I got dust everywhere, and I got a reflection coming right here. So this is challenging. I might have to move. But it's the turnoff going to Elderberry Campground. It's BLM land, campsite 4. I usually camp at due to the large swimming hole and off-road a bit and more private. But 2 campsites before the A sign that has a cross stover or a stoffer, the dirt road goes downhill, kind of rough, but flattens out at the bottom. Really nice, but a total of 3 camping sites are there, so I prefer number 4, due to I have a bad dog that does like kids and strangers. I think he meant doesn't. So to protect others and be able to let him loose, but in my presence, I go to number 4. I've camped winter, summer, spring, and fall. Limit is 2 weeks, and BLM rangers are bunholes. Real bunholes. Years ago, I lived out there, 10 months, no problems. Now, because I think of the homeless population and trash, people leave, it's now become a problem to stay longer. Gotta be sneaky and slick. LOL. Change cars, tents, the whole 9 yards. Okay, I've emailed you about the chimpanzee sounds. All the years I've spent out there, never have I heard that until last year. What the F? But there is a lone wolf out there, and it's a male. I know this because he's pissed on my tent. And my male dog has gone around pissing everywhere this wolf has repeatedly. The wolf I've spotted, this wolf, I've spotted his tracks. Boyfriend, oh, it's a dog. Whatever. How come in a different area, approximately 14 up the road and way off main road, only my car tracks going in and only our shoe prints? Here's the same tracks. He says lost dog. Okay, whatever. There is wolves in Oregon. It's all right. I've heard it run a stop about 20 feet from our tent late at night. Then he let out a broken, kind of a weird howl. My youngest son was with me, in his 30s. He goes, "What the F? That's a wolf." I said, "I told you there's a wolf out here." He's like, "What the F? I never believed you." I've not heard of that myself. Anyways, this wolf went up to my Acura GL 2-door which my 2 dogs were in the window, cracked open 2 inches, and challenged my dogs, which started aggressively barking at it. Then the door handle flicked. If it weren't a challenge to open doors, that wolf would have just done exactly that, but there was a trick to open my doors. Thank God, or I would have had to confront the wolf to save my dogs. Only weapons, machete, knife, and an axe. I yelled and it took off running. I tried going into the screen area of the tent to take a picture of it, and my son freaked out at me saying I was going to get eaten, LOL. I wasn't scared. It ran off, and all I got off pic is the screen of the tent. After that, my son made me bring dogs into the tent. This wolf had dry dog food to eat. I left out, but didn't eat any. He sounded like an elk or horse running on frozen ground 20 feet from the tent before he howled. He used the creek usually to come upon my camp that crossed the other side of the creek, which is a steep mountain, every night approximately half an hour after darkness. Every night he did this. My guess, den up that way? He's big is my guess due to running sounding like elk or horses coming. This sounded kind of weird. I once before heard his footsteps on dry summer powdered dirt, so he's big. Plus, sneaked around the van we were in that time to sneak to a 30-gallon plastic garbage can someone left at Stover campsite to lick butter off a paper plate I picked up last while cleaning campsite upon my first day. Always cleaning campsites. People are pigs. Okay, this little garbage can has 2 wheels, and a plate with butter was approximately a foot deep in can. My dogs would have had to raise up on hind legs, which would have knocked the can over to get the butter. This wolf didn't, and easily licked the plate clean. Walked over to my car, housing my dogs again. Then as they barked, I yelled and it ran off. My dogs are the size of Border Collie. Female is Border Collie / Kelpie. Male is Shepherd / Chow. He's mean. She's nice. Sorry for the long one, but since then, the Stover campsite is yellow taped off and blocked with boulders. Why? I don't know. But we walked down in there to see if any dangers. Didn't see anything wrong. But I did find a large amount of human hair, black. Not from a haircut, but a lot. And felt human. I hid it under a rock and reported it. But bet $1 million no one investigated. I should go see if it's still there, huh? No one ever contacted me back. No one cares around here. Thanks for listening, Jana. Okay, Jana. That was okay. Then there was an email that I would have been maybe posted, maybe not, but I'm gonna post it up. Why would I not post it up? Because it kind of went on, and it wasn't really, didn't seem to be about the topic at hand, unless it was, and it wasn't delivered correctly. So what I'm gathering is, Jana, there was a large wolf coming into your camp every single night. You could hear it running off by the sounds of it, but you saw it. Didn't you not see it? Or you didn't see it? That's the confusing part. If you didn't see it, maybe you're thinking it's a lot larger than a wolf. Maybe that's what you're trying to get at. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused. Now, wolves don't tolerate other canines. They kill them on sight. Kill them dead. Doesn't matter what breed of dog, they kill them. And they won't eat dog food. They won't eat dog food. They want the meat. Anyway, I don't know. That's a confusing one for me, Jenna. Were you possibly getting at insinuating that maybe it was a large dog man type of being? I don't know. I don't know. And the human hair? Yeah. If this is recent, I don't even know when this is wrote, but yeah, definitely go back, grab the hair, and find out what's up with that. You can take a picture of it, send it to us, and if need be, I know somebody who does DNA that we can trust. Fully vetted her. All right? There you go, you guys. You get to get it raw today. There's going to be no editing. Why? Because the GoPro battery is valuable time charging. It's charged, and I can't go backwards. And there's probably barely enough there to get anything shared with you guys. Now listen to this. This is titled, coincidentally, Dog Man in the Road. The Lights, Sasquatch, and Getting Lost. Can we read this? I think we read this, and it is way too long for the battery in that camera. I'll guarantee I don't have enough juice to do that. red column. I got a lot of red ones. All right, what's this one? Garrett County, Maryland. Steve, I want to resend this story that was originally sent last spring. You probably missed it. You've read several dog stories recently and thought the community might enjoy this one. One detail left out of my original email was the fact that this dog was a trained police canine who did double duty as the family pet. To say the dog was fearless would be an understatement. While this experience occurred many years ago, it is like it was yesterday to me. Keep up the good work. All right. Sounds familiar, but I hope I didn't read it. Dear Steve, I want to share a story with you that occurred in Garrett County, Maryland, when I was 18 years old. Garrett County is the westernmost county in Maryland and the location of the Eastern Continental Divide. The rivers/streams in the western part of the county are part of the Ohio/Mississippi River drainage, and the eastern streams/rivers are part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. I'm a lifelong outdoors person, now over 50 years old. I've hunted and fished all my life throughout the United States and abroad. In 1981, my family owned a small horse farm that bordered Savage River State Forest, which is over 54,000 acres. It was September, and our bow season was already underway. Mark, my best friend from high school, and I had placed apples approximately 100 yards into the hardwoods above our upper field. Our purpose in doing this was to observe deer coming into the apples, including one particular monster buck that we were watching all summer. This was in the days before trail cameras, and the only way to monitor the activity around the apple pile was to watch it from a distance. 2 days after the apples were placed, Mark and I set up on location where we could glass the apples as well as the surrounding woods. We were quietly talking about the deer we had seen over the summer when all of a sudden, in the thicket below us, something large started to crash through the brush. Mark immediately said, "What was that?" I responded, "I don't know, but it's heading towards the lower field." We both quickly got up and moved as fast as we could towards the edge of the upper field where we might have a chance to see something. As I got into the field, I heard what best can be described as a roar/scream coming from the tree line in the corner of the lower field. The distance to this location was more than 800 yards from where I was now standing. The roar/scream had so much volume and depth that it hit me in the chest, and I could actually feel it at that distance. The experience was nothing that I've ever felt before. About this time, I saw my German Shepherd Brutus run out of the horse barn towards the sound. I started screaming at him to stop, but the distance was so great between me and the dog that any attempt to stop him was futile. With no forethought, I started running as fast as I could towards the dog and whatever was making the sound. I remember starting to panic when I noticed that the roar/scream was growing louder and more intense as the dog neared the wood line. At the time, I never gave any thought to my own safety, excuse me, and all that I was worried about was the life of my dog. I was halfway down the field, still yelling, "Stop," when Brutus suddenly slammed on the brakes so quickly that he body rolled in the field. Holy shit. Brutus got up and ran as fast as he could back to the barn. When I got to the barn, Brutus was literally shaking. I never saw the dog act that way about anything. In all the excitement, I never saw the source of the sound, and neither did Mark. Whatever it was, it quit screaming when the dog retreated. I know the dog saw it, and he reacted with absolute fear and ran as fast as he could back to the safety of the barn. At the time this occurred, I never thought about Bigfoot or Sasquatch being the source of this encounter. There was no internet to research the subject, and my only exposure to Bigfoot was the movie The Legend of Boggy Creek and a couple of documentaries. I believe in those days that Bigfoot lived in the Pacific Northwest in British Columbia, not in the East. This belief notwithstanding, the incident had a profound impact upon me and my outdoor activities for many years. I'd go to my bow stand just after daylight when I could see and leave the woods before it was completely dark. If I have any feeling that something is just not right, I listen to myself and back out without hesitation. Over the years, hunting and fishing, I've run into a lot of wildlife, and I've heard just about every sound known animals make. Whatever roared or screamed that day was not a bear, a bobcat, a mountain lion, or a coyote. It was something else. I've hesitated telling this story to anyone except a few close friends because I never saw anything, and I didn't want to be judged or ridiculed. Unfortunately, the only eyewitness that may have seen something is a dog who now lives in my heart and memory. It is well known that animals can speak to their owners in special ways with complete understanding. Whatever it was, Brutus was afraid, and the look he gave me in the barn that day said that I should be afraid too. Please feel free to tell my story and keep up the good work supporting honest people who have encountered this creature. Stay safe hunting and good luck, Jim Reed. Jim Reed, I absolutely believe you to be an honest man. And Brutus, an honest dog. Although we can't vet Brutus, I believe him. Shared. Share it to the people. Welcome to the club, my man. And thank you so much for emailing us, all right? When you find out, experience, or learn anything else, make sure you email it to us, all right? This is a safe place. It's the place of the people. Now, this is titled Flat Rock, Alabama. Good morning, Steve. First, let me say thank you for sharing all these stories and for being in line of fire for all of us. My name is Jonathan. I was born and raised in a small town, Flat Rock, in northeast Alabama on Sand Mountain. I don't think I've been to northeast Alabama. I've been in the woods since I was 6 or 7 years old. I'm 48 now. I've never seen a Sasquatch, but I've heard things that I couldn't explain. The first time I was 19 or 20, and I was in a climbing stand on our property, and I heard something moan like it was in pain. It sounded like it was 500 yards away or farther. That's a long ways to hear a moan. It didn't sound like anything I'd ever heard before, and it made me a little uneasy. And then I heard it again about 2 minutes later, and it sounded closer. It was almost dark, and normally I would sit till a few minutes after dark before climbing down. But I got this really strong feeling of fear. So I came down and got the hell out of there. The second time I heard something was about 10 years later. Me and a couple of friends decided to go catfishing at a place called Twin Lakes near Stevenson, Alabama. It was a wildlife management area, and you can hunt small game and trap during season. When you turn off the paved road, you drive about 3/4 of a mile down a dirt road to get to the lakes. The road goes between the lakes and ends where it meets the river. We waited until 10:30 p.m. to get there because that's usually when the catfish started to bite. We drove to the end of the road to where the lakes fed into the river. It was a narrow channel that almost looked more like a creek between the lakes and river, but full of fish. When we got there, we unloaded our gear, lit the lantern, and built a fire. Sorry. Got our chairs set up and started to fish. We could hear dogs barking across the river, and there was a couple of possums playing in the road behind us. Out of nowhere, we heard this moan howl, or whatever you would call it. It lasted at least 35 seconds. When it stopped, you could have heard a pin drop. It was really loud and longer than anything I've ever heard howl. One of my friends turned to me and said, "What the hell was that?" I didn't have an answer, so half jokingly said, "Maybe a werewolf." About this time, I heard the truck door slam and my other friend's 9mm cock. He said, if y'all going with me, get your ass in the truck. He had already packed and threw his stuff in the truck and was in a hurry to go. This guy's 6'7" or 8" and weighs probably 325 and was raised in the woods. He said he had seen black bear and cougars around there when he was camping, but had never heard any shit like that before. So we quickly put out the fire, threw our gear in, and got in the truck. We hauled ass out of there and didn't say much on the way home. I've always had an open mind when it comes to Sasquatch. If we're still discovering species every year, then why not? I have a theory. Maybe it's crazy. I think that they are an advanced being that are able to use as much higher percentage of their brain power than we do. I think they can sense electric fields or magnetic energy. I also think that they are everywhere, kind of like deer. And like deer, size depends on where they live and the climate for that region. I know I've been lied to about these things, and that's bad enough. But what's worse is why. I think these things are like people in that they are mostly good, but some are bad. I know my story wasn't much, but I believe that every person that comes forward that believes helps people to know that they are not alone and that they are not crazy. Thanks again for what you do, and maybe I'll get my chance to meet you. If I ever get my dream hunt for elk in Alaska, elk in Alaska, and you can use my name if you want. I'm not scared of what people think. I say F them. Me too, man. I appreciate you sending that in. And I believe you 100%. Yeah. Time to leave. It's like what happened to me a handful of nights ago. And how come I'm not freaking out in the woods? You'll see on this video where I went. I put that GoPro on my head today and wore it. You'll see where I am. I'm in big, deep timber. I don't know how far in I was. I was a long ways in there. I remember I had service in there. I was texting with Sarah saying, oh man, if I get an elk in here, I am in for it. It'll take me a couple days to get it out of there. But whatever. Why am I not scared? Why am I so comfortable in there right now? I don't get it. I was thinking that today. I'm sitting on a log and I'm eating a sandwich. Not looking behind me, not looking around. I'm like, I feel absolutely 110% calm, cool, and confident, relaxed. Went only about 5 miles that way. I had the living shit scared out of me by a noise in the woods down behind my tent in the timber that I'd never heard before. And it took a lot of power to make that noise. It was very, very, very intimidating and made me frickin' shit. I left the area. I didn't go home. I'm still doing it. Why is that? I don't understand that part. I don't get it. There's just something really weird going on the odd time, in the odd place, for the odd person. And there's no pinpointing what type of person gets to have these experiences because it's everybody. Like I said before, there's no nothing going on there when it comes to gender. I don't even like saying that word gender anymore. They've ruined that one, haven't they? Whether you're male or female, black, white, yellow, purple, orange, red, turquoise, doesn't matter what color you are. Whether you're from South America, North America, Norway, Sweden, or Kazakhstan, it doesn't matter. Everybody's experiencing the exact same patterns randomly. Doesn't matter if you're the paper boy unemployed or if you're President Roosevelt. Doesn't matter. Why? Why? Why so random? Why now and then? Why am I not scared right now after what I experienced the other night? Why is that? That's confusing to me. Lots of whys. How long is this one? Oh, this is long. That battery's gonna die. I know it is. Maybe I could hopefully find a short one in here. Here's a short one. Coincidentally, right when I said it, found it. 1977 Canada. Hi, I've been watching your program for over a year now. I really enjoy the stories. I'm from Los Angeles, but would visit the relatives in Toronto every summer. My Uncle Jerry, who died recently, had a houseboat, and one summer we took it up the Locks way up into the area of Algonquin, but not really sure, as I was 14 at the time, but I know the town of Halliburton was part of the trip. One night we tied up next to a small island and we played Monopoly in the night. I just watched a program on TV about Bigfoot and joked with my uncle about it, and he told me, quote, they can't swim, end quote, and not to worry. Back then, Bigfoot was really popular. Early that morning, I felt something that woke me up. My fear was so strong I froze and I couldn't breathe. And then, quote, it, end quote, happened. Something rocked the boat like something huge was trying to board her. My window berth was next to land, and I was frozen solid. I had this fight or flight moment, but I couldn't even speak to wake everyone. In the morning, I told everyone what happened, and nobody believed me. They said I watched too much TV. I know what I experienced. I never told a soul after that, but knew something was out there. I think they swim. Jordan Weinberg, Lake Tahoe, California. Jordan, they do swim. Of course they swim. Here's your minute. pile of people have seen these beings swimming. That story that you just relayed reminds me of a commercial fisherman that rode into John Bendernagel, I believe, and said this thing was basically hanging on the side of the rails, looking up at him at nighttime in the ocean. Where else? Someone in Souk emailed me saying that something was out in the ocean off their dock, and when they brought up the crab traps that were off the dock, they were all completely stomped flat. Something to that effect. Some duck hunters near Kamloops, British Columbia were sitting there on their boat, whatever it is, they're blind, and one of these beings just rose up out of the water, head and shoulders, and looked at him, disappeared again. What's up with that? Where'd he go? Right? Where else? There's been a lot. A lot of people have reported seeing the swimming. Oh, Sasquatch Inlet, not far away from where I ran into one. My very first, me and him looking at each other. There's a couple on a boat, I heard, fairly recently, and there's 3 of them in the water. 2 of them are clinging to the rock face, frozen when I put the spotlight on it, so hoping to not be seen, I guess. And that was only about 6 miles away from where an RCMP officer saw 3 walk across Humpback Road in front of a car. Google it. That's also the same road where I know a fisheries officer and 3 other ones who were in a car and seen one cross the road, Humpback Road, and their headlights in front of them. It's endless. It's endless. Anyway, I got just enough time to get back. It's almost time to go out. That's another thing that makes it tough to hunt now too. You've only got the first maybe 2 hours of seeing light is productive right now in this hot weather, and then you got the whole day to do nothing or try to do something. Hike around. I've been hiking. And then you need to get into to where you think one might come out or be active, and you need to get there I like to be there at least an hour and a half before dark. And then you sit there, don't move, and hope something's coming. So that's what I'm doing. It's a good time to do this, right? So I'm going to get moving, get prepared for this evening, sit and wait. I think I'm going to go in the forest this time and sit over some trails and sit in silence and wait and hope that I can harvest this game meat, which we really need. So there you go. Don't forget about the $50,000 reward. All right? To find whoever it is that I've commissioned to write me phony stories for this channel. That includes the writers. All right, I won't talk about all that negative shit anymore, but it's kind of, the vetting thing needed to be addressed. It's kind of like fact checkers, right? Who's a fact checker? Anybody know a fact checker? Fact checkers, ram it up your asses. I don't know anybody who's a fact checker. I don't know of any fact checking course. I don't know anybody who gets to be put in the position of being called a fact checker, and their word is the end of all. Right? People are funny. Keep writing in those emails. Let's make sure every single person gets heard, and make sure that we get every single person in tune with their sixth sense or intuition, and they, all of you, get to decide what's legitimate or not, right? We're putting an end to giving some other human being that position. It's over now. No more authority, right? You are your own authority. You decide for yourself. You learn for yourself. You already know the truth yourself, right? You have to exercise that skill that we had until you're ultimately, intimately in tune with it, and then your life will get way better. My gut instincts have made every single decision for me for a number of years now, and it has changed every single thing about life for me, everything, and everything for the better. As soon as I got in tune with my gut instincts, my intuition, life got better. So I want to pass that on to as many people as I can too while we're doing this, by doing this, right? And I'm babbling like an idiot. Obviously, I've been in the woods by myself for too long. I'll be back again. Can't stop me. Us.